The following stories are inspired by documented paranormal encounters. Some locations and identities may have been changed to protect the people involved. These stories may be disturbing for younger audiences, and listener discretion is advised. This podcast is based on true events.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him.
Hey, I'm B, she, they.
Hey, I'm Dalia, she, they.
And this podcast is based on true events.
I think that's the first time I've said hey.
Hey?
I usually say hi.
Hey.
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 Hey, guys. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday!
It's my birthday episode. Actually, when this comes out, my birthday will have been yesterday, as you guys are hearing it now. But, it's my birthday episode.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday!
I'm excited.
Go, shawty.
This is also the first, this is also the first episode we were recording where me and Dalia are officially married. Officially husband and wife.
We married.
Congratulations!
We married.
I'm not gonna go, into detail on our honeymoon, our cryptid road trip honeymoon. You guys have already seen it on social media by now.
And if you haven't, go check it out.
If you haven't, go check it out. I've made a couple posts about it, a couple different things. It was fun. It was a nice weekend. Something we definitely really needed outside of it being our honeymoon.
Yes, it was very fun.
Yeah. But yeah, we had...
The only reason I didn't hide in the trunk was because it was their honeymoon.
No, otherwise, Mothman, count me in.
Yeah, we saw B's baby daddy.
Yep.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it until today, but I was like, what we should have done is... because we did go visit the domes, the TNT domes, which that was probably my favorite part of the entire weekend.
I think so.
It was really nice. They have such an energy there that's very palpable inside the domes. I have a recording of how it echoed. I'll show you that later because we were trying to do some EVPs, a couple in a past story in B's birthday episode. If you want to go check that out. Thankfully though, we were a lot more respectful. And we didn't catch anything, but it was bless you. But it was a really nice time. But it was for sure there was for sure you could feel the shit inside that dome. Whether it was just the way it morphed sound or what have you, there was an energy there for sure. And I don't even know if you remember this. On our way out, Dalia kept going, "Do you hear that?" And I would be like, first couple times I was like, no, but the third time I did hear it right before. It was a low, not really a moan, but just a low vocal tone almost, a few different times. But it was a great weekend. Yeah.
We say is we won't go into too much detail. Here's what happened at the
fun.
domes.
I can't.
It was really fun. I cannot blame.
Yeah,
you
we
for
had
that.
we had our small little ceremony with some of our favorite people in the entire world. One of them sitting right here on the couch with me.
Keeping it in the podcast.
Keeping it in the podcast. Who married us, by the way?
I did.
Reverend.
B.
Reverend. That's me.
We went karaokeing afterwards, and they would start shouting that every time B finished a karaoke song.
Go
No,
Reverend.
starting
Go
the karaoke song
Reverend.
too.
Go Reverend.
Well, as for vibe checks, it's my birthday episode. I'm excited. At the same time, it's hard. I don't know why, but I always get this feeling of melancholy whenever my birthday comes around. I don't know why that is. I have no qualms with growing older, so it's not really that. You know what? It probably is. Thinking about it, actually taking myself outside of it, it probably has something to do with me being no, I shouldn't have a day dedicated to me or some bullshit like that. That doesn't feel fair. That doesn't feel right. Even though literally everybody has a birthday. It's stupid, and I understand that. But that's probably what it is.
You deserve everything.
Thank you.
You
Well,
absolutely deserve a day to celebrate you.
Well, thank you.
100%.
I appreciate that. But as far as that, it's been... Last week, we had a crash coming down, or at least I for sure did, coming back from our honeymoon. So I was not in the good headspace last week. But this week it's getting better. I'm just a little sore this week. other than that, like, I'm fine. Like, I'm okay. Like, I feel good here. I feel good right now. I'm excited to, like, see B and, like, record today. Yeah. We're doing, like, 2 episodes of recording every other week for the foreseeable future of the holidays. Who knows? If we like it, maybe we'll just keep it that way. We don't know. But at least for the holidays, we're doing this to keep our weekends open and, you know, keep things chugging along still. But I guess that's my vibe check. Who would like to go next?
That was one hell of a vibe
I'm so sorry.
Damn.
It's my birthday. I can make long-winded speeches
Hell
if
yeah,
I
you
want to.
can.
Yep.
How about you, B?
I'm chilling.
Like a villain?
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
Yeah.
All right.
That's hey.
I got a belly full of Arby's myself.
Mhm.
And...
That's
What?
right. We were supposed to have potato soup. And B gets here, and right after I noticed this, but I'm stirring it, and I'm like, this don't look right. Because we use, like, a little packet thing from, like, Kroger. I was like, this don't look right. And I checked. We had got this packet of potato soup last week. Its expiration date was December of 2022. No fucking wonder
if we got
it didn't
sick
look
and had
right.
a hospital bill, we could have sued them.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Why do you have something from 3 years ago?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So obviously we're like, we're not eating that, so we got Arby's.
Yeah,
And now we're here.
And I like Arby's a lot. I've been on that French dip.
You have been. Yeah, she discovered the French dip while we were... Was it when we were on vacation?
Yep.
It was, yeah. In our first hotel. And, yeah, she's... Every time we're like, what should we eat? She's like, can I get that French dip? Allow me to dip some French into your life.
I'm cool because I got that French dip. So...
Yeah.
We just actually celebrated my birthday yesterday as of this recording session. Yeah. And he got me a cake from a French bakery. It's French, right?
I don't know. It's called Paris Baguette. I don't know if it's legitimately French. I know it's a chain, but it's a good, like, bakery place. It's really
Strawberry cream or something.
Yeah, it was a strawberry soft cream cake. It's
Best cake I ever had. I recommend it.
Yeah.
If you have a Paris Baguette in your area. Or if you don't, you could look up recipes or find it at a different restaurant. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Went out to dinner. It was real nice. I got her a t-shirt that has a tarot card on it that says the iced coffee. And then I got her a button maker.
Oh, that's cool.
Make buttons, because I'd be on that K-pop merch.
Well,
Like,
she's also very, like, artistic and crafty, which will come in phases, like all of my hobbies do for sure. But yeah, I like seeing you do artistic stuff, and so I usually tend to lean towards.
what about the autistic stuff?
I
what
love
I was just
that.
thinking.
I love that a lot too. Yeah. All right. Well, B, you just said you're chilling for your vibe check, right? You're
Yep.
good. All right. Cool. Well, are we ready to get into my story for my birthday episode? It's our birthday episode, comrades. For
Yes.
my birthday episode.
Yeah. Dive
Okay.
on in.
All right. Well, this one was actually inspired by something B said, and I'll explain that soon.
Uh-oh.
So, here, for my birthday episode today, I wanted to cover another one of my favorite cases that I've had growing up, especially since we learned recently that B has never even heard of this place before.
Uh-oh.
A very famous house that has been covered in numerous ghost hunting shows and still attracts visiting teams eager to communicate with spirits inside, and whose paranormal residents have only seemed to grow in numbers since the original story I'm about to tell you took place. I am, of course, referring to the Sallie House.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know any. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. Similar to our Halloween episode, actually, where we covered the haunting in Connecticut. This story was featured on both shows that are really popular here on our show as well. A Haunting and Paranormal Witness, so it was featured on both of those as well. And so I will be, once again, pulling from both stories. However, I do want to say that for those more versed in the story than I am, there may be some kind of timeline discrepancies, but the core information should all still be there. It was just kind of hard going back and forth to kind of piece like what happened when, because new information, what have you.
Yeah.
So, as told by the show A Haunting and Paranormal Witness, I give you Sallie. Atchison, Kansas, March 1993. newlyweds Tony and Deborah Pickman start renting a house that they thought would be perfect to start their family in. With Deborah expecting and the house being plenty spacious, everything seemed to be looking up for the couple. For about a month, everything seemed fine. And then, the couple started experiencing little occurrences that they couldn't quite explain. For instance, one night, as they were heading upstairs to bed, the TV in their living room they had just turned off would turn itself back on with no explanation. Tony reasoned that it was an old house and therefore just had faulty wiring, promising Deborah to call the landlord about it in the morning. The couple also had a dog named Sasha that would stand outside the doorway to the room they designated to be the nursery, and just bark and growl at the room within. Once again, they explained it away. Maybe the previous owner had pets, and that was what Sasha was reacting to, their scent, right? That summer, Deborah would give birth to their son that they named Taylor. And they noticed that baby Taylor just wasn't having the best time sleeping. One night, they were down in the living room trying to get Taylor back to sleep when all of a sudden the lights in the room started to flicker and dim. Finding it odd, but again blaming electrical problems, the extremely tired couple just tried to focus on getting their child back to sleep. One day, while heading down the stairs to go to work, Tony notices that one of their family portraits on the wall was now hanging upside down. It's exact same orientation, just flipped upside down. He writes it, thinking that maybe he had done something to make Deborah mad, and she had done it kind of passive-aggressively. So he fixes it, and he heads off to work. Well, not long after, the same day, Deb is bringing laundry up the stairs when she notices the stairs were considerably colder than the rest of the house. As she continues up these stairs, she feels a breeze pass by her and describes it as, quote, if a child had run past her down the steps. One day, as Tony is vacuuming the upstairs hallway, the vacuum shuts off. And after looking around for a bit, he notices that the cord had come unplugged, but found it odd since there was some slack in the cord still. It reminds me of our, the one farm, I'm blanking on it. The Herb Baumeister ghost one. Oh. Where she was cleaning up around the pool and the...
Yeah.
So, that's interesting.
What the hell was the name of that one?
Oh man, why am I blanking on it?
I remember exactly what you're talking about.
It was, I can see it. I can see it in my head.
It was in Indiana, wasn't it?
It was in Indiana. It was, oh man, I can't think of anything besides Cold Wind from Dead by Daylight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments what
I'm sure it'll come to me later. Dolly, are you looking it up? Is that what that is? Okay.
Herb Baumeister?
Baumeister. Anyway, he plugs it back in and continues vacuuming around the corner, only for it to happen again.
Fox Hollow Farm.
Hollow Farm.
Fox
Hollow
Thank you.
Damn. Yep. That's also one of my favorite stories too. So I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it unplugs itself once again, and he goes to check it out, and this time he hears a slight chime of quiet music coming from the nursery. Stepping inside, he sees that the mobile above the crib was on and turning where it hadn't been before. As he watched, the mobile started to turn faster and faster until eventually it just stopped on its own.
Damn.
Deb's sister Karen decides to fly down for a week to help out with the newborn and give her and Tony some much needed rest. One day during this week, Tony calls Deb and Karen up to check something out. When they arrive to the open door of the nursery that Tony was standing in front of, they look in to see a bunch of stuffed animals arranged in a circle in the middle of the room, facing outwards. Tony claims to have found them like that, and Deb and Karen both confirm that they didn't do it either. They eventually decide that it must have been Tony's brother Alan, who actually lived next door to them. Alan was apparently always joking around with them, and they thought it wasn't outside the realm of possibility that he might have sneaked in to do this as some kind of a prank, right? But they put the toys up and intended to brush the whole incident off. But only a few minutes later, after they had left the room, Deb came back in to grab something, only to see that the stuffed animals were once again back in the same position on the floor, arranged in a circle, facing outwards. The others couldn't have done it, and Tony checked to find that the windows were locked, so if it was Alan doing this, How was he getting into the house, and how would he have done it that fast? The 3 adults slept in the same room that night, really creeped out by the strange events. Or event, singular. After Karen had gone back home, Alan visits the family and gets berated by Tony with questions on just how he was able to get into the house to pull that prank off. But Alan swore that he hadn't even been home that night. Alan finds it hard to take them seriously and joked about them having a ghost in their house. Ooh. He takes a bunch of photos on their camera, all while taunting the stuffed animals to fall in formation. To be like, do it, like, go ahead. But as he goes to take a picture of a stuffed bear sitting on a chair in the nursery, the bear suddenly shoots across the room as if it had been flung by unseen hands. This was all they needed to see, and freaked out, Tony immediately grabs up his newborn and they all get out of the house. As Tony begins buckling baby Taylor up into his car seat, he feels a real sharp pinch feeling on his back, almost like a bee sting. However, wanting to get out of there as fast as they could, Tony ignores it and finishes strapping in the baby. The Pickmans drive to the home of Tony's parents across town, just wanting to be away from the house for a while. After exchanging greetings and passing the baby to the grandparents to hold, Deb puts a hand on Tony's back, making him cringe away. Tony tells Deb how he must have gotten stung earlier and asks her to check it out. Pulling up Tony's shirt, Deb gasps as she sees 3 long scratch marks down the center of Tony's back. Tony, now feeling like there was something evil in the house after this, he now feels like there's something evil in the house after this. However, he also knows that he and Deb couldn't afford to just move out of their house. They were just starting a family, their resources were all bled out, and they needed a place to stay. So, later that night, the Pickmans head back home, not knowing what may await them. The next day, Tony's brother Alan brings a suggestion as they all sit in the Pickmans' kitchen for coffee. Apparently, his boss's sister was something of a medium or a psychic, and suggests that they invite her to visit to see what's going on in the house. Figuring that it couldn't hurt, they do just that, and 3 days later, they are sitting down with psychic Barbara Connor, telling her everything that had happened up until that point. Barbara has them take her to the nursery. Tony, not entirely sure what else to do, asks if he could take pictures around the room, to which the psychic agrees. Not long after being in the room, however, Barbara starts to lose her breath and choke, it seems. She tells the Pickmans that, quote, whatever is in here doesn't want us here, and that it, quote, doesn't like this many people in this room. As they go back downstairs, Barbara stops mid-stride and tells Tony to take a picture of the top of the stairs. She then starts talking to someone at the top of the stairs in the same tone of voice that you would talk to a timid child. Through some back and forth, she tells the Pickmans that she is talking to a young girl of about 7 years old by the name of Sallie. Apparently, Sallie had died in the house and felt like she was baby Taylor's protector. Sallie claimed that scratching Tony was her way of trying to protect the baby. I believe it was explained like seeing it as like, oh, he's taking the baby away, I need to protect the baby, that kind of thing. Deborah is immediately on board with Sallie and even suggests leaving out toys specifically for her in order to make her feel accepted. However, Tony isn't so easily convinced. He still feels like there's something wrong with the whole situation and thinks that it would be better to not interact with this thing at all. A couple of days after meeting with Barbara, Deb is out picking up some toys to leave for Sallie and stops to pick up the photos that they left to get developed. While Deb was really excited to see if they had captured little Sallie on film, the moment she sees the first image, her face drops. Every single picture featured dark, unexplained blurs and shadows that were not present when the photos were taken. Deborah felt the energy leave her and her knees buckle as she looked at the photos. The only way she could describe them was horrid. For Tony, this only strengthens his belief that Sallie wasn't entirely what she claimed to be, but Deb still continues to believe that Sallie is the harmless spirit of a little girl. Tony is concerned that his wife isn't taking the intrusion more seriously. However, weeks pass without incident. Deb's sister Karen returns for another visit, this time with her husband. As they talk and catch up, the four of them think they hear something strange over the baby monitor. But when they stop to listen, they no longer hear anything, so they just try to brush it off. Deb and Tony show Karen and her husband the photos that were taken during the psychic's visit and leave them to look through their stack as they go to grab their coats so that they could all go out to dinner. As they looked through the photos, baffled by their contents, the couple noticed a faint smell of smoke in the air and looked up to see a stuffed animal in the room catch on fire for seemingly no reason.
Oh, shit.
As they cry out, Deb and Tony rush back in, and seeing the fire, Tony uses his coat to smother and douse the flames. While Deborah tries to convince Tony that the fire was an isolated incident, Tony can't help but think, if it can do that, what's stopping it from setting one of us on fire? However, after the next few weeks remain silent in the house, Tony also starts to lower his guard a bit. That is, until one morning. Tony returns home from working the graveyard shift at a grain elevator that he worked at. He grabs himself a glass, opens the fridge to grab some orange juice, closes the fridge, and drops both as he sees the apparition of a young girl standing right before him. They stood there looking at each other for a moment before the girl just disappeared. As soon as she vanished, Tony ran upstairs to tell Deb what he just saw. But instead of feeling scared, Deborah feels more curious about the spirit and launches into asking Tony a bunch of questions about what Sallie looked like. Tony actually ended up drawing what he saw, which I will show in the pictures at the end. Deb also couldn't help but feel jealous at Tony's encounter. Why would Sallie present herself to Tony when she's the one that's been getting her toys for her and trying to make her feel like part of the family? It just wasn't fair. After this, the house sits quiet for months. Deb waits, hoping that Sallie would appear to her, but she never does. One day, Tony's mom comes over to help watch the baby. She kind of knew about the things that were happening in the house, but more or less just wanted to distance herself from it as much as she could. However, as she was over, baby Taylor let out a scream out of nowhere as if something had just happened to him. Tony's mom rushes over, picking up the baby and yelling at whatever was in the house that it better not dare harm Taylor, calling the thing a devil. Right after saying that, Tony watched an empty glass oil lamp that they had out for decoration lift up off the table it was on and shoot through the air at his mother, shattering just short of her as if it had hit a wall. So it shattered in midair, right before hitting her. Not long after, Tony is woken up violently by the feeling of being yanked up out of bed by his wrists. Excuse me, real quick. There's gonna be like a noise maybe, but my mic keeps lowering and I don't like it. So there's the disturbance. We're back. Not long after, Tony is woken up violently by the feeling of being yanked up out of bed by his wrists. Deb tries dismissing this by telling Tony that it was probably just a nightmare, but then they notice that Tony's wrists now had 5 distinct blisters in the shape of finger marks on them, exactly where Tony remembered feeling the tight grip just moments before. So it was like something had burned him. This confused Deb because how could this little girl have so much energy to pull someone out of bed like this? Was it an emergency? What was she trying to say? While Tony feels like baby Taylor is safe in the house, a rift starts to grow between him and his wife as she continues to get even more toys and even a separate crib just for Sallie and brush off the more threatening encounters that Tony had experienced. I think it was around this time that Tony had started having nightmares. Nightmares about a little girl transforming into something more beastly, more horrifying. Tony had also started hearing whispered voices whenever he tried to sleep. And rather than sounding like a little girl, they seemed to sound like 3 grown adults all talking at once, like they were right in his ear. One morning, as he tries to sleep through these voices once again, suddenly, Tony's bed starts to shake. He opens his eyes and sits bolt upright in bed, and as he looks around the room, he sees objects in the room start to spin on their own. The apparition of a woman flashes in and out of existence, pointing at him. He gets up to try and escape, but his bedroom door slams shut. He cries out for Deborah as he tries in vain to open the door. As Deborah easily opens the door from her side, everything stops. Deb thinks that Tony's mind is playing tricks on him due to lack of sleep. Tony starts to fear that whatever is in the house is trying to manipulate his feelings, as he has trouble keeping his growing resentment of Deb to himself. Sometimes, Tony would feel such strong urges of hate that he would picture reaching out and hurting Deb. Tony became more short-tempered, and this started causing more arguments between the two. The Pickmans eventually call back Barbara Connor for a second consultation. After contacting Sallie to try and get some answers, Barbara says that there's another entity in the house with them as well. A much older and stronger female entity than Sallie is. Barbara says that it's really the older entity committing all these darker acts, and Sallie is just taking the blame. Barbara says the situation may be more than she can handle and suggests an investigation team that may be able to help more. Tony's first reaction is, hell no. They lived in a small town, and if word got out that they thought that their house was haunted, they'd be a laughingstock. But with some prodding by Deborah and the psychic, Tony relented, and within days, a paranormal investigation team arrived, led by world-renowned medium and researcher Peter James. When Peter James first sat down with the Pickmans, one of the first things he asked was if they had a little daughter at around the age of 7. Apparently, as they were arriving, Peter saw a young girl watching them from out of an upstairs window. Peter also senses the presence of 2 spirits, a child and an adult female. He also gets the name Sallie, which puts a huge smile on Deborah's face because that is the second time in a row now that someone has gotten the name Sallie in their house without prompting. Peter makes his way to the couple's bedroom, where he says he can feel the adult female spirit try to repel him from the room. Peter suddenly appears to be shoved backwards into the frame of the doorway to the room, and at the same time, Tony yelps in pain. Upon lifting his shirt, they see that Tony now has 2 fresh sets of scratches on his back. And as they watched, a third set appeared right in front of their eyes. Peter James and his team continue to investigate the house inside and out. Before leaving, Peter tries one last time to communicate with the adult entity in the house, and finally, she seems to reveal herself, showing Peter a vision. Peter sees images of the house from a past century, of a physician who owned the house once before, and of a woman who was the servant and mistress to the physician. They kept their affair hidden for fear of a scandal in such racially divided times. Sallie was their 7-year-old daughter who died from pneumonia. Peter believes that the Pickmans need to set clear ground rules for the spirit in the house to follow. Despite all this, Tony thinks that the story is way too sweet for what he has been experiencing. Wanting to get another opinion, the couple contacts the TV show Sightings to come and investigate. During their interview with Deborah, the crew noticed that throughout the footage, a rose in the background, like during her interview, that started out like vibrant and healthy looking, slowly wilted throughout the interview, becoming wilted and black by the end. During Tony's interview, one of the investigators noticed that he had a cold sensation forming in his arm and can visibly see it when he looks at it through a thermal vision camera. The team watches on the thermal as the cold spot moves around on the investigator across from one arm to the other before shooting out at Tony. At the same time that they see this mass hit Tony, Tony has a painful reaction and starts to lift up his shirt. Tony describes it as like a, quote, frozen arm moving right through you. As Tony raises his shirt, everyone watches as scratches start appearing all over his body. The investigators stop recording in fear that them being there covering the story is what may be causing the attack. After these investigations, the atmosphere in the house started to feel heavier and heavier. Tony tells Deb that he feels like they should leave and comes clean about all the dark, brooding thoughts that have slowly been consuming him. Finally, Deb starts to take him seriously and agrees to start looking at ads for a new place to live. Deborah also starts to actually look into the history of the house and comes to find out that nobody named Sallie was ever on record to have lived or died in the house. What on earth had she been inviting so willingly into her home all this time? One morning, as Tony once again tries to find some sleep after a long night of work, shit hits the fan. His bed once again starts to violently shake. Drawers in the room start opening and slamming shut on their own. He could hear scratching in the walls. Objects started being thrown around the room. But suddenly, everything stops, and Tony sat panting as he watched these dust particles at the end of the bed start to swirl around and take shape. The shape of a woman, only too thin, too tall, too wrong. This thing dove at him, wrapping one of its clawed hands around his neck. When Deborah came home, she instantly knew something was wrong. As Sasha continuously barked, Deb ran up the stairs and entered her room only to see it trashed with Tony cowering in the corner. They left soon after, boxing up all the things that Deb had once bought Sallie and leaving them in the attic. Some sources say that sometime after Tony and Deborah moved out of the house, a satanic worshiper moved in, possibly due to the infamy of the house. There is a black mark on the floor in the basement that is believed to be covering up what was a pentagram that animal sacrifices would be performed on. In 2015, on an episode of Ghost Adventures, Zach Bagans actually convinced Deborah and Tony to return to the house, but in the basement, Tony was burned on the back of his neck and the couple immediately left the property. Nowadays, people can still visit the Sallie House on either a self-guided tour for $20 an hour or an overnight stay for $125 per person with a minimum of 2 people.
You guys want to go stay in the Sallie House?
Fuck.
I also, so I didn't include it in the main story, but I also do want to mention there is a well-known story that is told, right? And it doesn't have a whole lot of credibility, and I am going to be reciting it from memory, so forgive me. It's very Spark Notey. So there was a doctor who once lived in the house by the name of Finley, I believe was his last name. And there is a rumor, story, legend, or whatever, that a girl named Sallie once came in for appendicitis or something, and she died on the operating table. So that is the story that people say a Sallie. I don't think there's a Sallie, personally. I do not think there is a Sallie. I think both. These are just my opinions. I want to hear your guys' too. But right off the bat, there's no Sallie. I don't think there's actually a Sallie. I don't think there was ever a second woman. I think that whatever was in this house was playing these investigators. Just hoping oh, I'm something sweet. And I think it kind of got what it wanted with Deborah feeding into it.
I think there may have been a Sallie at one point. Because that's maybe where the entity got its name.
Sure.
But maybe the story about the appendicitis or whatever it was is true. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the entity is Sallie.
Well, I say it with low credibility because there is no record of this. There's no record of a Sallie living there. There's no record of a Sallie dying there. There is no record of a Sallie being a patient there. There's no record of a Sallie at all in this house. But yeah. But there could have been, because you're right, I had to get the name from somewhere, but who knows?
You mentioned earlier something about the town being racially divided.
At the time.
What time period was this happening?
It didn't say, it just it said from a past period.
Okay.
So I didn't get the exact time.
It makes me wonder because at one point the older spirit had mentioned that she was the mistress slash servant yes. of the doctor. And if it's as far back as I think it is, there's a very good chance that she was a slave, and so the Correct. Child wouldn't have been marked anywhere that would have been easy for us to find later on.
No, for sure. That's very possible. But I don't know. I think I agree with Tony on that, where the stories they were telling were too sweet for the things he specifically was experiencing.
Yeah, I definitely think it was something stronger, like a demonic type of entity. That isn't. There's no way that's just a ghost.
No, yeah,
no way.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that Yeah,
I liked it. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
you want some more of it?
Yeah.
I try so hard. But yeah. Any more thoughts on that? Because yeah, I really like that story. Like I said, that is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I see why. That's really interesting. I want to go sit and watch the TV shows now.
Yeah, a haunting. It's called. I believe it's called Sallie. No, it's called Sallie's House. And then Paranormal Witness. It's called The Harpy.
Okay.
But yeah. What are your thoughts?
I like that story.
That's true.
I had brought it up as a potential thing.
Oh yeah, you're the one who originally was cover the Sallie House.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I was like, well, we talked about it recently. Might as well do it now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was making that face because my boss texted me. I was like, girl, it's
past hours. I'm not
on the clock.
Absolutely am I not on the clock.
So.
Yeah.
Picture time?
Yeah, sure. No more thoughts? We can go to pictures? You might have some thoughts on these pictures, though.
Probably.
Yeah.
These are decent. Like, I like these pictures a lot. So, obviously, run of the mill. This first one is just Deborah and Tony Pickman. I believe this is how they... this is from, like, the Ghost Adventure episode they were on in 2015. So, this is how they looked around that time.
So, they stayed together?
Yes, they're still together today.
Cool.
Yeah, but...
Good. I'm glad those thoughts didn't...
No, yeah, for sure.
After.
I'm really glad, because a lot of places don't. A lot of people, like, don't survive that.
Yeah.
So... but yeah, so this next one is of the Sallie House. So this is how it stands today. And you can visit it, like I said.
Oh, it looks like a little dollhouse.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's a cute house. I can completely imagine them being like, yeah, this is the house we're gonna raise our children in, like our child in. Sorry if you heard some noises. I was adjusting the mic again. I need to tighten it. It was falling. But yeah, that's the house. This next one, this is where I think you guys are going to start loving these next three. So this next one is 4 pictures in one. These are pictures of the different scratches that Tony would get. So these are of the scratches he would get all over his body.
God damn.
Shit.
No, these are insane. I believe the bottom left one, that is like the first set of scratches he ever got, like on his back, like when he's buckling in Taylor's car seat. And if I remember right, the bottom right, those are the ones that started appearing during the interview from sightings.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
No, they're insane, right?
Yeah.
Like, looking at that, there's no way I can believe it's just a regular ghost. I'm sorry, I don't believe that, you know? Like, okay. You had your fill of that one yet?
There's a very crystal clear A on his peg.
Oh shit, there is! I didn't even notice that.
It's a very clear A.
It's the scarlet letter. Sorry.
Well, this next one, these next ones I think are my favorite. This is, again, 4 pictures in one. So, the time when they went around, they were taking pictures with the psychic. These are those pictures. These are some of the pictures that they got back on the camera roll. The top right one specifically is the one that she told him to take at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
So these are the pictures that Deb looked at and like her heart dropped basically.
That
for
bottom
me,
right one for
yeah,
me is
that's
really
weird.
Yeah, my eyes keep going right to it.
I got chills right now. Like I got goosey bumps. Like
yeah,
it's hard to explain. You have to look at it.
Yeah,
it's hard for our listener onlys.
Go to YouTube. Go watch this episode on YouTube.
Or or if you're listening to it, go to Instagram. The pictures are there.
Yeah. I forgot about social
Brandon's
media.
like, don't tell them to stop streaming on here.
Like you can go to Instagram. They're also on TikTok if you want to go there. But yeah, I guess they're also on the Blue Sky. They're on all our socials.
That's crazy.
No, it's crazy, and you're right. That bottom right one is insane. That one is of the 2 shadowy ones. Those are in the nursery. It looks like.
It's for me. It's the way that the doll in the middle is left out of the shadow, and it looks like it's.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even
coming
notice
over
that.
the doll.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
I cannot pull away from that picture.
Oh man.
I didn't notice the doll either.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild. The fact also, can I point out the fact Deborah was so into this like idea of a ghost child living in her house. She got her own crib.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's actually Delulu. That's delusional.
Yeah, that's like sure, people connect with the ghosts in their house all the time. Like, yeah, that's just Frank. What's not? You don't get them things.
Yeah, no, I yell at my ghost that it don't pay rent, so to quit slamming shit, and it stops.
Yeah. Oh man.
Not that.
Oh, I can't get over those photos. Those last 2 ones are insane, but we do have one more. So earlier I said I would show this later. This is the drawing that Tony did right after seeing Sallie when Deborah was like, "Well, draw it because you can't describe it." So this is the original drawing. This is what Sallie looked like or like this entity appeared as to him.
Like a little porcelain doll.
I was gonna say like a little doll.
He's
a good artist. What?
No, he is. No, he is. He likes to draw. He mentioned that's why he was able to do that.
He's blonde. He's ripped. He can draw. What else?
All right, damn, Deb, keep your man.
I wonder if it looks anything like that doll in that picture.
That doll, I didn't think it had
No,
hair.
it just looks like a regular baby doll.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the picture was just blurry. I can't tell.
Yeah, it just looks like a little bald baby doll.
Yeah. No, but imagine seeing something so clear that you're like, I can draw this for you right now. This is what this looks like. If I closed my refrigerator at night and saw this standing next to me, a little girl, anything really, but like,
yeah.
Ugh.
I have a daughter that age.
Yeah.
So thinking about her size, just jump scare.
I just saw something too, because after that, Deborah was like, well, "Why didn't I see it? You didn't need convincing." I just thought about that. You didn't need convincing. Tony didn't trust it, so it appeared to him as a little girl. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a good.
You didn't need convincing. Tony, it wants you both to believe it's just a little girl, so you won't try to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. And I think it started ramping up because, again, they brought in science. They had they had a paranormal investigation team, 2 different sidekicks, basically. It was like, they're going to find me out.
Yeah.
So it started ramping up. Oh, no, I really like this story. What do you guys think of this?
That was a wonderful story.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, it was.
Good. I thought those were some good pictures to go along with it, too.
Yeah.
These are some of my favorite, pictures I've been able to get. That's really insane, actually.
Yeah. I think so, too.
And also imagine getting these pictures of the ones in the house on one of those old wind up cameras that we used to have growing up. That's what these were from. They got them developed on this. And, for me, that would be okay, I don't know what to do about this anymore.
Yep. I'm out.
But yeah, any other thoughts on this story, guys?
Very interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we should visit it sometime. Sounds cheap to go.
I'd be totally down.
What was it? $125 a person to stay the night?
Yeah, with a 2-person minimum. I will say.
A 1, 2, 3.
We could just tour for $20.
For $20, yeah.
Self-guided.
Self-guided walkthrough.
$20 an hour. Sorry.
Imagine us.
Where is this at?
Atchison, Kansas.
Huh.
That's kind of a drive.
I'm about to find out.
I love a road trip, so
yeah.
Let's see, Atchison. I always forget how to spell Atchison. But Atchison, Kansas, is in fact a. Any guesses? Oh, any guesses?
10 hours.
Close. 9.5.
that's nothing.
It's something.
It's nothing.
Okay.
It's less than a drive to Florida.
That's over a work shift.
I drove all the way down to New Orleans. That's
you know
nothing.
What? Valid then. That's fair.
Plus, if you and I are switching off, Dalia.
You know what? We have 3
I
people.
can be the passenger princess.
We'll let Dalia passenger princess, and I will split drive time with you.
Okay, I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got you.
Can we rent a car so we get fancy heated seats?
At that point,
I have heated seats in my car.
You know what?
Yes. I have heated seats.
I have
cooled seats, and I have a heated steering wheel.
Oh, that sounds nice. That'd be so nice in the mornings.
Oh, it is.
I can imagine.
my achy hands on the nice warm steering wheel.
Yeah, I have really bad circulation, so my hands and my feet get ice cold instantly. But yeah, so that's the Sallie House. That's my story for today. Again, one of my favorite stories, as you can see, for good reason.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I would get chills and goosebumps multiple times throughout rereading that story and seeing the pictures, getting to dissect it. We're all just really burpy today, aren't we?
We just had sody pops.
Yeah, I think we're continuing to have sody pops. I think we're hiding it pretty well though. I had to burp multiple times during my story, so I just paused.
Why you gotta call us out?
Fund me.
Speak for yourselves.
No, for you, it's coughing still.
It is, and it is.
But you've been hiding that pretty well this episode too.
Hey, I'm trying.
All right. Dahlia, what do you got for us today? What do you got for my birthday? What'd you get for me today?
So, do you guys remember what Brandon requested for his birthday? What theme?
I do. Do you?
I don't.
Oh.
Well, Brandon's got a favorite type of paranormal story.
What do you think it is, B? What do you think my favorite type of paranormal story is? Category.
The creepiest. He picked what's creepiest to him, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I love these kind of stories because they actually freak me out. Just take a wild guess. Like,
is it Mimic stories?
It is Mimic stories.
Is
Mimics and Doppelgangers. Like, legitimately terrifying me.
Yep.
And I actually have 2 of them today.
Let's do it.
So, all right. This allegedly true encounter was found on Reddit.
Of course. And
I think for this one, we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. I've named this one, What's Wrong with Her Eyes?
Great.
No.
So let's get into it.
What a title.
I bought my first house in November 2019. As a kid who grew up dirt poor, obviously this was a huge accomplishment for myself and my family. We moved in, and for the first few months, it was our quiet little suburban house with a decent yard, and it was our slice of the American dream. At the start of the pandemic, I was furloughed from my job, so I was home for about a month. That's when my first experiences with the sleep paralysis began. My girlfriend would typically be up an hour before me to take our daughter to daycare. I'd wake up, kiss them goodbye, and lay back down until my alarm went off. When I woke up one morning, I couldn't move. I almost could wiggle my fingers a little and move my eyes, but that was it. That's when I saw a little girl standing at the bottom of my bed, out of the corners of my eyes. It looked like my daughter, even stood like she does, but the voice it had was warped and deeper somehow. It kept saying, "Dada." Sorry, I couldn't resist the urge to say it like that.
I'm picturing Shrek.
I need you to do it.
It said that, and I had to say it like that. I do apologize.
No, you're good.
I thought it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again.
That would be scary.
Again.
That would be really scary.
Dada. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna piss my pants. Thank you. I ain't your dada. Okay. Each time, the voice got deeper and almost seemed desperate for acknowledgement. I managed to break free of the paralysis and quickly sat up. She was gone. I kept telling myself it was just a dream, but the logical part of my brain knew better. Nothing else like that happened again until about a year later. Around Christmas of 2020, we always get a live tree instead of a fake tree at my girlfriend's insistence. It's a long-standing tradition in her family, and I'm vastly outnumbered if I choose to argue against it. I just hate vacuuming up those fucking needles. But I digress. Relatable.
Yeah.
The night after we set up and decorated the tree, I got up to grab some water from the fridge. My kitchen is separated from my living room with a wall about 4 feet high with a support pillar on the right side. I opened the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and closed the door. As I turned to face the living room, that was when I saw her. A slumped over figure of an older woman who was swaying back and forth. The swaying movements were rigid and almost mechanical. It looked like my mother, who had been passed away over a year ago at this point. Who or what was this thing, and why was it here all of a sudden? Despite me telling myself to run down the hallway and lock my bedroom door, part of me had to know if this was real. I've had vivid dreams after one too many edibles, but this wasn't like that. As I rounded the corner pillar, I came around the corner and the figure was gone. Nothing. I stood in my living room looking around and trying to get my breathing under control. Cold terror had engulfed me at the point, and I almost ran into my bedroom with a distinct certainty that I'd look back and find this thing running after me. Ooh. The next morning I told my girlfriend about it, and she immediately blamed the edibles. I thought she may be right, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't. She has never experienced anything and is a staunch denier of the paranormal, so I knew trying to convince her this was real was a battle I had already lost. A few days later, my girlfriend had already left for work, but I was watching my daughter for the day. She normally gets up around 7:30, so I got myself up to shower at 6:45. As I'm drying off, I catch a figure walking down my hallway towards my daughter's room out of the corner of my eye. At first, I thought it was my girlfriend and shrugged it off. But then I realized that she'd been gone for almost an hour at that point. She kissed me goodbye like she always does before leaving. Panic gripped me like it had never been before, and I ran to my daughter's room. I stopped at the door and heard her saying, "Hi," to her mommy. I opened the door and flipped on her light to find my daughter was still wrapped in her blanket, sitting up. "Good morning, baby," I said with a thin smile. "Good morning, Daddy. Where'd Mommy go? What's wrong with her eyes?" Terrified but still trying to keep my composure, I said, "Well, Mommy went to work before we woke up. She kissed me and you goodbye and she left. Why do you think something was wrong with her eyes?" My 3-year-old scrunches her face, and what she said next still freezes my blood when I think about it. Shaking her head, she says, No, Daddy. Mommy was just here, but her eyes were gone." I said nothing, and as calmly as I could, I got her out of bed and to the other side of the house. What the fuck is this thing, and why is it just showing up now? I called my girlfriend and work a few hours later and talked to her about what had just happened. So he called his girlfriend at work. I do apologize. I put my little girl on the phone so she could tell her mother that I wasn't lying and asked her if her eyes were okay. Mostly silent and very apprehensive, she agreed that I should call a priest if it made me feel better. The next morning, I called my local Catholic church because I am no Darren, and asked if the parish priest could come and bless my home. Do you want to explain what a Darren is?
Yeah, so Dalia actually asked me about this during. She's like, "What's this mean?" That is a reference to a podcast that me and Dalia really love called Scared to Death by Dan and Lindsay Cummins, which their podcast actually inspired the format of this one a lot. I'm caught up. I listen to every episode. Huh. It's a really good podcast. But yeah, that's what that's from. And what it is they read the story once where there was a guy named Darren, and he was messing with a Ouija board, and then bad shit would happen, but he would still go back and mess with the Ouija board still.
Yeah.
And so it's basically to be this is a person who is experiencing the paranormal, and they keep making it worse on purpose, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what that means.
And to continue. I'm baptized Catholic and I'm very lapsed in practice, but I told the rectory secretary, I don't know what that means, the rectory secretary.
The secretary of the rectory.
Thank you.
Okay.
What was going on, and she immediately put me in touch with a priest outside of that particular parish who is known to deal with disturbances like mine or worse. When he arrived, we talked more in depth about the things that had happened and how they started. Without any prompting, he walked to my daughter's room and threw holy water in the corner where her bed is. The priest told me that whatever this entity was, the way it was presenting itself was not only predatory but likely demonic in nature. He added that doppelganger type phenomenons are not always but sometimes used by a demonic spirit to attempt to possess someone by withering down their ability to discern reality. I nodded in silent terror, and I didn't want to tell him that I felt like I could shit out my heart and die at this point. Since then, I haven't felt anything or seen anything out of the ordinary, and the house just feels more vibrant and lively. I still feel like I'm being watched sometimes, but I chalk it up to paranoia to keep my sanity. Okay, now we're getting into a comment.
Okay.
So a user commented, "You mentioned that you did edibles? I'm assuming that you mean edible pot products. I have nothing against those things, and please don't think I'm judging you. I am a member of the Northern I'm so sorry if I butcher this. Arapaho tribe."
Arapaho, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. "And most of us believe in the things that you describe. Those evil spirits can get into a person's life if that person is under the influence of certain substances. The native people have long used substances in ceremonial and prayer practices since the beginning of time, and some of us still do, but it's in a very controlled environment and only done by our medicine people who know what they're doing. Again, I'm not judging you, and it doesn't bother me at all that people use recreational substances, but it may have opened a door. Good luck."
No, I fully believe in that. I've heard that before too.
Yeah. And then OP just responded. He said, or they said, I'm not sure. I never thought about that, but this is the first time I've had experiences like this, and I don't dabble in the occult. That is a no-no in my book.
So, I'm a green witch, and I absolutely use cannabis ritually when I'm doing something that needs me to connect with my goddess.
No, it's for sure a thing.
Or
like, I've definitely
when I
heard
meditate,
about it.
I always meditate just like blasted out of my mind somewhere dark in my little swing with something calming playing. And I absolutely use it ritually.
Now, I've definitely heard of that before. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert or know much about it, but I've heard about it in like in relation to like native tribes and stuff like that. So yeah, like I fully believe I fully believe that's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if something already has to be kind of be there for it to be that easy, though. You know what I mean? Do you know?
That I don't know. Well, because I've never had necessarily like a paranormal experience while I've been using.
Right.
It's and when it's something that I'm using it in a ritual sense, I have to be seeking it in order to have that connection.
Right. That's usually what like I would think as well.
Yeah.
With that kind of thing, and so I just wonder if like.
I could definitely see it enhancing it. Like if something was already there and in the house.
Right.
I could certainly see how it would enhance it. But I don't think that would be the cause that necessarily opened something unless that's what you were trying to do.
Unless they're actively trying to do that.
Yeah.
Or maybe the door was just there, just need a little jiggle of the lock. And
could be, but...
Yeah, but popping an edible isn't going to open a door like that.
Like there's so much in this universe that is... just straight up built on intention.
Yes.
And if there's no intention there, I feel like there's no connection to be had. But accidents happen all the time with like the spiritual realm things pop up at the same time. Yeah. This could for sure just be a case of they said it was like they said it was COVID, right? They're staying home more. It could have just always been there, and now it is interacting with you more because you're there more. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's lot of... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors. Oh, we both did scissors. Okay, so I'm just going to talk.
Go for it.
Excuse me.
I was just going to say I've definitely heard that before, like COVID.
Oh, so you're going to talk.
Yeah, now you can talk, though.
Okay. All right.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Are we?
No. He also mentioned his late mother. So I'm wondering if it was just like an offhand kind of, maybe he talks to his mom. He doesn't mean to mess with the paranormal. He said he's not into it. Maybe he talks to his mom as a way of like venting, and he didn't mention that, and maybe it opened something.
That's a possibility.
Definitely.
I'm sure.
So there's just a lot of possibilities. I know we're not getting the full story because I mean he's not going to give us every
connection.
He's also probably not going to like know what to include either.
Right,
like
exactly.
I wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's a good thing to bring up because it makes me think of people who use Ouija boards with the intent of reaching out to a loved one.
Yeah.
You open that door and you don't know what's coming through.
Correct.
So same thing. You get high and you think that you want to reach out and have that connection with your loved one. That's maybe the door did open.
Like they're not there, but I am. Like, which that's a scary thought too.
Especially with it being a mimic or doppelganger, they know who you were reaching out to for connection, and then to look like okay, sorry.
No, that vision of the mother, freaked me out. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
The way she was swaying like mechanically, I was like, ooh.
Fucking Freddy Fazbear over here.
I do want to point out that mentioning like the eyes were wrong, right? That is a common theme with like
eyes were gone.
Eyes were gone. Yeah, that's a common theme with the doppelgangers. They always get something wrong. However, there have been cases where it's like near perfect, and like I just recently heard a story, and somebody in the comments was like, if it got like such and such face that perfectly, it's been there for a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't like that idea either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ready for the photo?
Yes, we have a photo? Okay, cool.
Unfortunately, I have one.
I unfortunately do have a photo.
I unfortunately do have only one. So for my photo for this story, I have a screen cap, weirdly enough, from Mr. Belt and Weasel's Homeless music video.
I'm sorry?
If you don't know the song, you can look it up. I'm not a musical person. I also can't remember what it sounds like. But I figured the mom looked pretty normal or mom-like the child saw, with no eyes, since the little girl fully believed it was her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we also have no way of knowing if it was an empty socket situation or just like this, just literally no eyes.
Would you prefer this, like skin instead of eyes, or empty socket?
I don't know. The skin feels more like
mannequin-y.
Yeah.
It does feel more mannequin-y.
Like, at least with the holes, you can imagine, like, okay, eyes were there and they were removed.
But
just the skin?
Yeah, I don't know.
You never had eyes. That's weird.
I don't know what I'd prefer. I really don't. I don't like either option.
Especially if it's a loved one, I don't like either option.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. If I saw... Lord forbid, if my mom had passed away and I had saw that, or if she's still alive and I had saw that, like a vision of her like that...
And just to be clear, this is to represent what the child was seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly like her mom. A lot of moms in this story, sorry.
No, yeah, you're
exactly like her mom, just no eyes.
Yeah. I just went back to that vision of the mechanical mom because that freaks me out a lot.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like this.
The animatronic mom.
Yeah, I don't like the no eyes mother either, however.
Yeah.
I don't like the other mother, but like oh yeah, that's I'm getting active chills. This is a good episode. I can feel it.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Well, that's all I have for this one. Any more comments?
I'm good. I've said my piece.
Yeah? Okay, well, are we ready for my second one?
Of course.
My final one, if you will, of this
no.
episode. Okay. This is going to be a little different. This allegedly true encounter comes from my new favorite site. My new favorite source that was introduced to me from Brandon, actually.
Which was introduced to me by, once again, Scared to Death. They had covered a story from this website and...
Okay, I thought you were going to introduce it. I was like, nope, I'm introducing the website.
No.
You go ahead.
They had covered a story that was on this website, and Dan, one of the hosts, was like, yeah, I really love this website. Like, I've been... Yeah.
So the website is yourghoststories.com, where users share their ghost stories and fellow members of the community offer advice, lend support, or whatever is needed. I am a fan.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it. So, the format's a little differently. Differently. It starts off with the title. They've titled this The Mimicking Spirit. The author is Lil Wolf, and it was posted on January 29th of 2018 in the country of the United States in the state of North Carolina.
Okay, getting some background for this one. Nice.
The paranormal category is apparitions, voices, and touches.
A lot of background on this one. All right.
Yes. There has been some pretty creepy things going on in our apartment the last 2 weeks that is unlike anything I have ever dealt with. It started last week. Jocelyn, this is OP's baby, had been asleep for a while, and Kyler, which is OP's partner, was getting a shower while I was putting away dishes. I was just about done when I heard what I thought was him walking down the hall. I remembered that most of our towels were in the dryer, so I quickly said, "Stay in the bathroom, I'll grab you a towel." I didn't want him to get the carpet wet, and I felt kind of bad because I had forgot to put them away. I noticed that I didn't hear the bathroom door shut. It's kind of squeaky. When I came around the corner, he wasn't standing at the bathroom door. In fact, the shower was still running and the door was shut. I got 2 towels, one for Kyler and one to dry the floor. When I opened the door, to my surprise, the floor was dry. Sorry, this is worded kind of. I asked how he managed to avoid getting the floor wet when he stepped out. He said he hadn't stepped out. But I heard you. He laughed and asked me what I meant by that. I explained that usually I can hear his necklace clink as he walks, and he always shuffles his feet. Well, it wasn't me, he had said. All observant one, he teased. I laughed it off and told myself that I was just hearing things and went to get ready for bed. Later that night, around 3:30, maybe a little bit after, I woke up to Jocelyn crying like I had never heard her cry before. It automatically sent me into protective mommy mode and I ran into her room. Now, before I go any further, let me just say this. I do not believe in the witching hour, so please don't even go there. It's because she said 3 o'clock. So.
Yeah.
I merely mentioned the time because it was unlike Jocelyn to wake up around that time. She had already been given a bottle and changed around 11 when she last woke up, which is her normal estimated time. She is pretty in sync with her routine. Anyway, moving along. I went in her room and picked her up to trying to calm her down. Kyler wasn't far behind me. He asked me if I noticed how it felt like somebody else had been in there, and I nodded my head yes as I continued to try and calm down the baby. She was looking all over the room, clinging to me as tight as her little hands would let her, and sobbing. Something had definitely scared her. Whatever it was had left its energy and signature behind. We managed to get her back to sleep and went to bed ourselves. I lay there thinking about everything that happened and made a mental note to talk to Kyler about refreshing the shields over our apartment. I am yet to master that, and he has a lot more experience with the supernatural than I do. We hardly ever have any issues with spirits in our house, so all of this was frustrating for me, especially considering that it was bothering Jocelyn. That's something I won't stand for. Mess with me, not my baby. I heard once again what sounded like Kyler walking down the hall. Same shuffle and clink of his necklace, but this time I knew it wasn't him. He was laying down right beside me. Why would it try to mimic the sound of his walk? I rolled over and snuggled into Kai, whispering to myself, "You're going to have to do better than that to scare me. I'm on to you." Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Nope.
The rest of the week was pretty normal except for the electricity. The lights are either absurdly bright or really dim, but none of the appliances seem to be affected. I am still not sure if it's due to what's hanging around the apartment, the fuse box, or the wiring. We're still waiting on maintenance to come check that out. I have noticed that it only happens in the living room and dining room, and that it usually happens when I am in the room alone or with Jocelyn. It is super rare that it happens while Kai is home, so I'm leaning more towards supernatural but not swearing to it. I also know that it's not the light bulbs because we use the energy efficient ones, and I know they are put in flushly but not too tight, and that they are always the right wattage. So they shouldn't be blowing as quick as they are. It wasn't until this week that I officially got freaked out by the spirit. I was reading Jocelyn a bedtime story waiting on Kyler to get home when I once again heard what sounded like him walking down the hall. I decided to ignore it, hoping that it would get the point and go away, continuing Jocelyn's story like nothing was going on. For a minute, it stopped, and I said to myself, "That's what I thought," and smiled in triumph. I tucked Jocelyn in, turned on her mobile. Is that how you say it? Is it mobile?
It's mobile, yeah.
Okay. And was just about to go into the living room when I heard Kyler call out, "Hi, little wolf." Yeah. Feeling all giddy, because I love when he calls me by that nickname. You go. You know what?
Yeah, get it.
To each their own. I quickly went to greet him. As soon as I stepped into the living room and saw him standing by the door, I stopped. Something wasn't right, but I couldn't figure out what. "What, no hug?" he asked, grinning. I stepped closer to him, and then I spotted what was wrong. You want to guess what it was?
It's the eyes again.
Yep.
No.
His eyes were the wrong color. Kyler has dark brown eyes, not blue eyes.
Ooh.
I froze in a combination of fear and anger. Then, just as quick as snapping your fingers, it just vanished. I stood there, feeling dazed and exhausted. I went and checked on Jocelyn to make sure she was alright and found her sleeping peacefully. As soon as Kyler got home, I told him about what happened, and he cleansed and shielded every room of the house. Jocelyn and me, too. Neither one of us have ever ran across something that can mimic the voice and appearance of someone almost flawlessly like that. And we have no clue what it was, why it was bothering Jocelyn and I, or how we can get rid of it once and for all. I have never dabbled with a Ouija board or tarot cards. They have always creeped me out. Any info or suggestions are super appreciated. I just want to piece back in our... Sorry, words are hard.
You're good.
I just want peace back in our house and to make sure that this spirit can't come back. So in the comments, OP provided us with an update. For a quick update, we did find out that it's the wiring that is causing the issues with the lights, so that's crossed off of the paranormal list. But a few days ago, my husband ended up with some fine scratches that were unexplained, and we still hear the pacing quite a bit. On the other hand, after multiple cleansings of our apartment, it is starting to get weaker, which is a pro. Every time I see it, now it's for shorter amounts of time, and its replicas of Kyler are becoming less and less accurate. It also hasn't gone into Jocelyn's room anymore, which is a relief. It seems that it has shifted its sights to Kyler. I'm guessing because he is the main one doing the shielding and the cleansing. It's not over yet, but we are getting somewhere at least. Thank you, all that has given advice or just taken the time to read this.
Okay.
That's the last update we got.
At one point in that story, I looked down and I had goosebumps on my leg.
Ooh.
My husband has dark hazel brown eyes. And I can't imagine if I heard him come through the front door, so excited to come see him, and he was standing there with blue eyes.
The way that it almost sounded mocking.
Yeah.
Almost like that. Ooh, I don't like that. Like, ugh.
Good shit. I'm glad I could do that to you guys.
Yeah.
A couple things for me. One of them, crap. There was one thing at the end that I was gonna say, and I just blanked on it for some reason. But first thing is the idea of like, because you were like, oh yeah, I heard his distinct footsteps. I heard the clink of a necklace. So like, I get that completely because like you get to know somebody, especially somebody you care about. You can for sure point them out by their footsteps and shit.
Yep.
Something even like more specific. So my brother Tyler, which you know,
yeah,
he was like, he was born with like some kind of like some kind of deformity. I don't exactly know what it is. He's like obviously, you know, great. He's a grown man. He's doing well in life, but he has like, he walks with like a limp, right? Like some kind of a limp. And I can remember that distinct sound of like hearing him upstairs and the way he walks. I can't imagine like hearing that when he's not home because like that's so specific. Like that's very specific. You know what I mean? Like, no, so I can completely understand that. I also do love that like it seemed like the moment Lil Wolf or whatever started getting angry, it said, okay, peace, bye, later. Just in case. No, yeah, that's creepy. Those are real
I also
creepy.
love that, I mean, coming from a source like this where I got this website, people are going to be more in tune with this spiritual realm, if you will, and I think it's refreshing to not have I've never been a believer in the paranormal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
To people who actively shield and cleanse their home. I think that's pretty cool. 180 that these stories have taken. Yeah. Are you ready for pictures?
Real quick, what would you guys rather see of a doppelganger of your partner or whatever? Would you rather it have no eyes or different colored eyes?
I would rather neither.
Okay, but you have to pick one.
I don't want
That's
to.
the game. You have to pick.
It'd be easier to recognize that you're a doppelganger from far away if you had no eyes.
True, But it'd be scarier if all they were was a different color, because you know something's wrong, but it takes you a little bit to be like, oh.
But you got to be really close to them. At least I do.
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm
I
saying.
don't want to get that close to it.
Oh yeah, I did say would you rather, so I understand. Yeah. But no, that'd be way scarier for sure. But okay, now wait, B, you didn't answer. Who looked around like you just got slapped?
I thought maybe you didn't realize what we were talking about.
No, because I don't know. Probably the different colored eyes. I feel like the no eyes would just be too unsettling. It's such a shock.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the different colored eyes is very unsettling. But different colored eyes versus no eyes?
No eyes might traumatize you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just want to know if I need to stay away from this or not.
No, yeah.
And my eyes ain't that good, so I can't see the color of your eyes from here.
Same. I can't tell. I know they're darker.
I could be a doppelganger. You don't know.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, I already have bad eyes.
I don't know what color eyes y'all have.
Fake.
I don't know.
Kidding.
So, for me, I have never paid attention to eye color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. But, like, and I always feel so bad about when somebody's like, you don't know the color of my eyes? I just don't pay attention
Correct.
to the color of eye color.
My
I know,
partners,
I kind of know what mine are.
I know what yours are for sure.
Yeah, they're like, hey.
Do you know what mine are?
They're like a grayish, right?
You better know what color my eyes are.
See what I mean?
You be staring in my eyes
a lot. That's different. That's your wife.
That's different.
That's the one person I would expect you to know.
Was I right?
I mean, not to be a typical white girl, but they do change color. They go from like a bluish to a greenish to a grayish.
How am I supposed to remember that? Because I think I'm gaslighting myself at that point.
That's called hazel. You have blue hazel eyes.
Okay, whatever you say. My teacher in kindergarten told me I had gray eyes, and I lied when they took the poll because I didn't want to be the freak with the gray eyes. So
gray is hazel too.
So, well, when I was like in kindergarten though, I was like, I thought gray was a weird color to have his eyes. I was like, I don't have gray eyes.
When I was in kindergarten, my teacher for our birthdays, she would pull us up on her lap, put her hand on our butt, and give us fake spanks.
It was already weird when you had laps. So they're fired now, right?
I don't love that.
She was this old white woman, and it's the weirdest thing is we had we still had room moms at that point. So, like, our parents were definitely in the room when this was happening. My mom was a room mom. Thinking about it now,
I don't think my mom would have been down with that.
I don't think mine would either, weirdly enough.
I don't think my mom would have been down with it, but also my mom, like, she doesn't...
Oh, when we got the pinch, too. The pinch was real. You got the pinch.
No, so, yeah, my mom also doesn't like to really stand out much if she can help it. So I think she'd feel comfortable with it, but also wouldn't say anything right off the bat. I think she'd be like, that's weird.
My mom swears up and down she never hit me, but my brain says otherwise.
No, for real. No, but that's weird. No, but I once looking in your eyes were like, yeah, your eyes are blue, and you're like, no, they're gray. I was like, I'm literally looking at them. So
you're probably right, but you're also colorblind, so it's hard.
It doesn't work like that. You know. You're like, you should know my eye color, but when I was looking into your eyes and told you your eye color, you said no. So I don't know what you want from me at this point. Anyway, you got a picture for us?
I have multiple. So, okay, for the first picture, I have provided you with a metal necklace from weareallsmith.com. This particular necklace is a dog tag one and is kind of, like, it's the kind of necklace I could definitely, for sure, seeing as being one that you could hear.
Like clanking. Yeah, for sure.
Clanking.
Yeah.
And I chose, like, someone, who, I don't know their gender, but could be male. So it works. Could also be female, but it doesn't really matter.
It's the necklace that's important.
It's the necklace.
Right. You said you had multiple?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Okay, so it completely took me out of the album.
Now, why would you do that?
It did it, not me.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. So, for the next one, I am so sorry, guys. There it is. I have a little info sheet on shielding and protecting your home from gemrocks.com.au. It's an Australian crystal shop that I came across while on my search. OP said nothing about crystals and such, I don't believe, but these are an example of how one could go about cleansing and shielding their home from negativity.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, there's like the sage, and there's a lot of good different examples.
Hell yeah. I love that. That's a cool little infographic.
Mm-hmm. I thought so too.
Very nice. Those were very creepy stories, hon. Those got
Yeah,
me.
they were.
Doppelgangers,
Great job.
Mimics and Doppelganger stories get me to my core.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't like that. I don't like it. It really freaks me out. Because it's like it's playing a mind game with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, B, I'm really hoping your story has a lot less chills for us.
It does.
Good. All right.
It does.
What you got for us?
With a gorgeous picture at the end, too.
Yeah? Exciting.
Is it a view?
It is a view.
Is it a...
Oh,
I said you.
Oh, I thought you said, is it a view? Like a V-I-E-W, a view.
I was like, me.
So what I heard was she said, is it of you? And then said, yes, it's of you. And I was like, what about me?
It's just a picture of Brandon.
What about the birthday boy?
That made me think about The Handmaid's Tale and how you and I are both of Brandon. Anyways. I was digging around in Reddit. I was in the Ask Reddit subreddit. Mm-hmm. And someone had said, what's the most wholesome experience you've had with a stranger? And I really liked this little story. OP begins, I could not even begin to pick a single one. In August of last year, I loaded a bunch of gear onto my bicycle and spent the better part of the next 7 months riding 5,300 miles around the U.S.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Along the way, every single person I met wanted to be a positive part in my story, whatever way they were able. Many kinds of locals opened their homes to me for a night, providing me a warm bed, a hot shower, and their wonderful company over a delicious home-cooked meal. Neighbors in the next campsite over would see me ride into camp on my bike with all its gear, and they'd come over to ask about my travels. I'd give them a summary of my trip up to that point and plan for the rest of it, and they would invite me to join them around their fire to trade for their... Restart. They would invite me to join them around their fire to trade their food and beer for my stories. It was absolutely incredible, and not a single day went by where I didn't feel the warmth and hospitality of at least one person. When I started the trip, I was most looking forward to the beautiful natural scenery I would ride through, the national parks and such that I would camp in. And indeed, there were many such highlights of the trip. Watching the cliffs of the South Dakota's Badlands glow pink in the evening light, the bright red leaves of autumn juxtaposed against the pure white backdrop of an early snowfall in the mountains of Montana, a mountain goat in the North Cascades of Washington, and waking up to the yips and howls of coyotes in Joshua Tree. Those are the types of things that I most look forward to. But they aren't exactly what I look back on most fondly, because there's a much more important detail of that evening in the Badlands, for example, is the fact that I shared it with some neighboring campers around their fire. After riding through that snowstorm in Montana, a local opened his home to me for the evening, and the next morning, he allowed what was initially planned to just be an overnight stop to turn into a rest day while I waited for better weather. I never would have noticed that mountain goat had I not seen 2 other people looking at the top of a cliff with their binoculars. After I asked what they were looking at, we were chatting for quite a bit. They mentioned that they'd been coming to the North Cascades every year for 25 years, and that was the first time ever seeing a mountain goat. But even so, they were eager to lend me their binoculars so that I could get a good look. And in Joshua Tree, I watched those coyotes run right past the campground while I was cooking my breakfast on my neighbor's stove. My little stove had stopped working my first evening in Joshua Tree, so they allowed me to borrow theirs every evening and every morning so that I could have a warm breakfast and dinner. I traveled across some different parts of this country, and not just geographically different but culturally different as well. I met people from all walks of life, people who love spending their entire life in the urban chaos of San Diego, and people who prefer the quiet communities of small-town Montana. But the one thing that they all had in common was their desire to make my time in the areas they call home as warm and as welcoming as possible. And for that, I will forever be indebted to each of the hundreds of people I met on my travels.
That's sweet.
That's really nice, yeah.
I don't really think about that, but it's true. Locals really take pride and be like, you gotta try this place, this is the best restaurant. You gotta go over to this little shop over here, they're gonna have this. They love that. I have started to do that since moving here.
What an adventure.
Yep.
What an adventure.
Yeah.
Wait till you see this picture, though.
I have long said that in another universe, there is a me that is the complete opposite, who is currently backpacking across the most scenic fucking places in the world. But the current me loves his trinkets and his coziness, so I'm here.
Yep. A mood.
But I feel that other me out there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever I watch my like scenic videos I see on TikTok and Instagram, I feel that. I feel him.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I love that. That's so neat. So nice.
The picture that I have for you guys is a gorgeous shot of the Badlands in South Dakota during the sunset, when you can really see the cliffs coming out pink.
Oh my god, that's real?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Is that not gorgeous?
Beautiful art.
Even just the way the lines are in the mountains that all connect, it looks like they're all connected.
Yep.
I mean, I know they are, but you know what I mean. They look... Wow.
Gorgeous.
Oh man. I love nature. I love nature. It's so beautiful.
Nature's really cool, too. I wonder how those mountains came to look like that, what kind of rocks those are and stuff. Leave your answer in the comments.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the mountains in California where I'm from.
Yeah.
Because from a distance it looks really bare, but when you get up in there and you get in those canyons, they are just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. I'm more of a forest guy myself, but I do love a good canyon and mountain.
Oh yeah.
I love greenery. I love how it changes in color as the seasons go, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
I love a good fog in the morning. I love a good blue hour. I love a good golden hour. I love sunshine after a fresh rain. Oh, nature's beautiful.
Yep.
It's so good. Thank you for that, B. I appreciate that.
Of course. No problem.
It's a good one. That was a
Happy
good...
birthday, Brandon.
Thank you.
I was too busy yawning to comment, but I agree.
Same. Squire? Same.
You know I'm cozy over here, as always.
No, yeah, for sure.
We need to just start taking a picture of you every recording sesh.
Please don't.
We can put zombie over you.
Okay.
Take a picture of you and how
Hand
comfy you get. Yeah. Yeah, we got you. We just got to show how comfy you get
every single session.
Nah.
But, okay, well, thank you guys for joining me and the rest of us. Thank you all for joining on my birthday episode.
The royal we.
The royal we. I really appreciate y'all listening. Hope you liked our stories. I know I did. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, not Twitter because
fuck Twitter.
Fuck Twitter. We're on YouTube. You're probably listening, watching it right now. You've probably seen all the pictures come up as we showed them to each other. But if not, you can find those on the other socials. I already said Blue Sky, right? Yes, because you said fuck Twitter.
You said Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay.
Find us on the
We do this. We gotta get a list. We gotta write down and have it on a sheet.
I got one right here.
He pointed out his brain. His noggin.
My noggin. TikTok. We do have a TikTok, yeah. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. That's all the socials, I'm very sure. YouTube, obviously. But, hey, by the way, if you have a story that you want to send us, whether it be a wholesome story or a paranormal experience that you've encountered, send them in to us. We may read them on the podcast. If you have a paranormal story, send all these in to TPIBOTE at outlook.com. If it is a paranormal story, put in the subject line that is for Dalia.
No H.
no H, Dalia. If it is a wholesome story, put it in the subject line for B. That is BEE, like the aminal. We've got
the aminal.
The insect.
The aminal.
Bees aren't insects. Don't get me started.
What are they?
Just keep it moving.
No, is there a word for it? I do want to know.
I don't know.
Bug.
I'm high.
A bug. Like the bug.
Wait, bees?
They're not classified as insects.
Oh,
are they classified as bugs?
I think so.
Right. Like
There's
legally?
no difference. I don't know.
Are they illegal bugs?
I'm high. I don't know. I'll check it later. But they're not insects.
They have the little bug degree.
Leave a comment. What are bees?
Are bees bugs?
Argue with me about bees in the comments. Let's do it.
Are bees bugs? Are shrimps is bugs? Bees is bugs?
Bees in the comments.
Anyway, I think that's it. If give us a rating wherever you can. I mean, you can recommend us on our Facebook page. That would really help us get out there to more people. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, there's a rating option for you at the top of our listing page thing. Please do that. That'd be great. If you like us. If you don't like us, you don't have to do that. We don't it's fine. But yeah,
I was wrong about the bees.
Really?
They're insects. They're not bugs. It was the other way around.
What do you mean they're not bugs?
So for those of you who were very angry when bees said they were not insects.
Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah, my bad. They're insects, but they're not bugs.
What do you mean they're not bugs?
They're not. So there's a true bug classification.
Is there? I thought it was like a. Nope. I thought it was like a slang term.
Nope.
Like
bees
all bugs.
I knew that.
Are not bugs.
Like
they're insects, but they are not true bugs.
All is bug. We is bug.
Insects are defined by their body composition, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know arachnids is different, but that's as far as my knowledge goes.
That's a spider.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I know they are different from bugs. But I know they're different from insects, but that was as far as my knowledge went. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We need to move on. We gotta go.
It's kind of like every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square.
One of these days,
this is why we're doing a paranormal podcast and not a bug podcast.
A bugcast. You know what? One of these days, when we have enough followers and listeners to justify us getting a Patreon, I think a really fun bonus episode would be just to let B go ham and talk about bugs for an hour.
Oh, please.
That'd be so fun.
Please.
I want to make a TikTok where here's my friend B. She's going to talk about her favorite bugs.
You better be nice.
You better be nice. I'll just stand there.
And both of us just gonna stand in sunglasses and suits like bouncers behind them.
Pointing at the camera.
Yep. And it's just going to be a fact about how in the winter, if you see bees outside of the hive, those are just male bees that the females pushed out because they're not worth having in the winter.
I feel like I do know that one, yeah.
Yep.
Period. Valid.
There's not enough food here for you. Get out.
Mood. It's fine.
No soup for you.
Well, once again, thank you so much. Also, if you do like that idea of the Patreon, share us around. Tell your friends, hey, listen to this podcast. We'd really appreciate it, and we'd love you forever for it. But that is all we got for you today. Thank you for listening. And as always, this podcast is based on true events.
Was.
This podcast was based on true events.